Are they going to sign Jay Wright too as coach? I mean, goodness gracious, Skip. Come on. You just got the whole Villanova team on the New York Knicks.
Yeah. Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I give them about a 5.5.
Do you really? I'm surprised you went that high.
Yeah. I gave them without Anunoby, it's at a 5. But to me, I think they needed another superstar. Yeah, they got more depth, of course, and this is something they needed. But I felt like they had a little depth. They just didn't play it. You had McBride, probably should have played more minutes. Burks should have played more minutes early in the playoffs. But, yeah, you add another guy. But the thing to me is people tend to forget the other teams in the East that are going to get better. Indiana, they don't just jump up to a threat to the Celtics because they were one round away. Indiana's going to be better next year, too. Mathurin's going to come back. I mean, you got to figure a healthy Philly team probably beats them. If Joel Embiid's not playing on one leg. If he's not playing on one leg, it took him that was a tough series for them. Milwaukee, they probably got to figure they'll probably be better next year, too. So as far as their threat to the Celtics, they better hope they sign Anunoby because they're going to drop down to a 2 if they don't. Because if you don't got athletic wings that can guard and knock down threes, you have no shot against the Boston Celtics. So, yeah, I like what they did in adding depth. But the thing is, they're going to have chemistry issues. I mean, think about this. Brunson, the way they played in the playoffs, if they were healthy, you probably got to say maybe they beat Indiana, but who knows? Brunson giving you 29 a game. So now you got to come back with Randall the next year, who gave you 25 a game. You got to implement him. Now you got to implement Bridges, who averaged 20. So how is that going to change the way Brunson played? He has to turn into a passing guard now. But we all know he's at his best when he's scoring. Dribble, 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 dribble. That's what we said all year, but that's what he was good at. So as far as a threat to the Celtics, 5.5 with Anunoby. So pretty much not much of a threat.
It sounds like you're dismissing Mikal Bridges as depth, right? You added depth? Like, is he just depth?
Yeah, but I think you need another superstar. Like, if you had to say they added Paul George or they added KD, I would have been like, oh, okay. That sounds like more of a threat to me. But they still come into a pistol fight with a knife, and that ain't enough.
I would say it's a 6 without a 7 with OG. It's 7 with OG, and it's not.
Look, the Knicks had an opportunity last year this past season against Indy to get it done. They couldn't get it done. They ran out of gas. Brunson got banged up, hurt. They lost OG. But if you look at those games, you clearly could see that they was in all of the games. They was right there to the end, and they just ran out of gas. So add another piece like Mikal Bridges to the party, and then in terms of chemistry, yeah, they got to get chemistry with Randall, and maybe they got to figure out who takes the shots in certain situations. But as far as chemistry, it's 4 of them. They played together in college.
Oh, they know each other too. They lost Harkenstein. They're going to lose him.
Well, they haven't, but
they will.
Yeah. They haven't yet. So when you look at where they're at, I think they're right there. Now, it's still moves to be made. We don't know how this thing gonna shake out over the next several months until the season starts with people.
7 though. Huh? Not a 7, Key. Not a 7.
What? You don't want it to be a 7? Just say
7.
you don't want it to be a 7.
It's not a 7. They're not that close.
So you don't think that they a threat at all?
Not as constructive.
Even though you won the NBA final, you went through not a gauntlet. It wasn't even close to a gauntlet to get there.
They lost to Indiana in 7. We swept them, Key.
Yeah, but you also swept Indiana. You also swept Indiana when Indiana was tired. When Halliburton basically he didn't play the last 2 games, I think it was?
Yeah.
Game and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from the Celtics.
No, it ain't that. But we're saying how close are the Knicks?
A 7.
No.
With OG, they not a 7?
No.
You gave them a 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
And a 6 with them.
So if you took a test and you got a 5.5, that's still an F.
But
with 10 questions.
You gave them a 5.5 without even a 6.
You got 10 questions and you get 5.5 of them right, that's still an F.
No, that's true.
right.
That sounds just like the Kansas grade scale, right?
But Skip.
Wait, did you go to Kansas?
Yeah, I went to Kansas University.
Did you go to class, actually?
Sometimes when it wasn't snowing.
But look, Paul, check this out, though. Y'all won a championship, man. You went through Miami, who wasn't fully healthy. You went through Cleveland, not healthy. You went through Indy, not healthy. And then you ran up on a team. Well, I mean, most people would say that the guy that you beat in the championship wasn't healthy, too, as an excuse. But I'm just saying, to get out of the East, you went through some teams that wasn't healthy. And then if you would have seen the Sixers, they wasn't healthy. Put it this way, the entire East wasn't healthy.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you can't just dismiss them. You can't do that.
How about this prediction before you go, Skip? Look at Mikal Bridges' longest active games played is 474 this year. Oh, that's going out the window on the Tibbs. that streak going to be over.
I thought of that.
That streak is going to be over.
Because he has been Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, that streak, that Iron Man streak on the Tibbs, that's out of there.
Okay. All right.
Dude averaging 20 a game, but you act like that's just chopped liver.
No, that ain't chopped liver on the worst team in the. I mean, go ahead, Skip.
Keyshawn, I'm sorry. I got to go with duck boat on this. Except I'm way below duck boat.
You probably a 2.
I'm a 2. You got me. You guessed it. I wrote down a 2 because as much as I enjoyed watching the Knicks and rooting for the Knicks, and they got great grit and fight and spunk and hustle and, you know, loose ball urgency and all that good stuff, all those intangibles, I just don't love the tangibles enough. I don't love the supreme talent enough.
That's
you
what
give
I'm
me
saying.
OG and Mikal on the wings, and they're 2 long, athletic, defensive-oriented wings. They got some PG and Kawhi younger versions going, where
I would say that's pretty good.
it's pretty good.
No, that's not even.
Yeah, but they
Young
can
PG and a Kawhi?
Them too.
on defense. I'm talking about
Okay,
on defense.
I give them that.
On defense. On
That's
defense.
good.
Yes.
No, okay, I give them that.
Where they can threaten your 2 supremely talented wings. At least they can match up, and that's what they just did. Leon Rose just said, damn the future. I'm going completely all in for right now, next year, right?
Well, completely all in right now for next year, we've been going after KD with that package.
Okay.
Going after Paul George with the same trade
they
package.
still, by the way, I'm thinking about this, and I haven't read anything about it yet, but Paul George is still sitting out there, and he's about to become as free as a bird.
And they got cap space.
Okay, and you could just say, would we rather have Paul George than Anunoby? Maybe.
Okay, now you talking.
Okay.
Now you talking.
okay,
now
but-
the scale goes
All
up.
right,
if you do
but
that.
now you got some age factor with Paul George, and we're going to get deeper into his value in a few minutes here, but he is still 34 after 14 NBA seasons.
Yeah.
He's been there and done all that, and he's not a 1A kind of star to me. He's more of a 1B kind of a star. But would he be a little better this coming year than Anunoby? Maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just on star power, just on mystique, you would be a little more afraid of him than you would be of Anunoby,
Absolutely.
right? Even though Anunoby contributed to a championship, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So my problem with the Knicks is you mentioned dribble, 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 dribble. So I just
how do
looked
you
back
implement all of this
before
now?
the show, and I thought Luka dribbled the literal air out of the basketball through the playoffs, and he got worse and worse the deeper and worse it got against you guys. But Jalen Brunson led the playoffs in usage rate, the whole
that's what
playoffs.
I'm
He
saying.
led with 36.4, and Donovan Mitchell was second, and Luka went up third because in the first 2 rounds, Luka wasn't dribbling the air out of it the way he was against the Celtics or even against Minnesota. So my point is, Jalen Brunson, you want to talk about dribbling the basketball to death. It's, after a while watching the Knicks, you just sit back and say, okay, just shoot it. Just go ahead.
So
'Cause
how do
he's
you
dribbling
implement
he's
all of
dribbling-
that? That's what I'm saying.
I know.
But
'cause
that's at a time where they had to have him do that.
Yeah.
Think about it. They didn't have nothing else. They had lost all their players that could contribute.
yeah,
They didn't know that Josh Hart would score at the times he was scoring, and DiVincenzo would do what he was doing. And
he was tremendous.
So they didn't know that. So, yeah, of course he's going to dribble, dribble, dribble.
Okay, and to your point, Hartenstein is how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Hartenstein.
Okay, Hartenstein, they're not going to be able to keep him because he was really good through the playoffs.
Yeah.
The numbers don't sound that great. He averaged 9 and 8, but his 8, half of them
He
were
was
offensive
active.
rebounds.
He was
Half of the
active.
8, so he had 4
he
offensive
gave me
rebounds a
more
game.
credit.
And he shot 86% from the free throw line, which will work because he can get to the free throw line. So somebody's going to give him some money, I'm pretty sure,
for
because
sure.
he proved he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And now Mitchell Robinson is still there, and he is 7 feet tall, and he is 240 pounds. But I'm not sure he has the impact that Hartenstein does. And you do have, and you laugh to me about it, but you still got the unicorn. And the unicorn's going to get his leg fixed, and it'll be fine.
And we'll go to the repair room.
Okay. And listen, I saw him score whatever it was, 18 points in 13 minutes. He is a big difference maker because he's like 7'3" tall. And I'm not sure the Knicks would have an answer to him, even though he used to be a Knick, right? And he's bounced around, but I think he found a home in the middle of your talent.
Why didn't the unicorn Brunson
I don't know.
and Luka didn't work?
It's a good question.
Because you got two guards that dribble.
Okay.
And I'm not sure you can win in the NBA. Luka got them there, but they were a 5th seed. I just think they got to change the way they play when you have other players that can play around you.
Okay. And now we get back to Mikal Bridges. When I say the name to you, do you sit back and say, ooh?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you had told me
I don't. I like him a lot.
I like him a lot.
Okay.
I like him a lot.
He scores 20 a game. He scored 20 a game last year, and he always guarded the toughest player to guard on the other team.
Yes.
And he's a great kid, and he's good for your chemistry and all the above. But do you fear him? Do you sit back and say, ooh, he could be the Jaylen Brown? I don't see.
It's hard to fear him when you really haven't seen him with a talented group of people other than college.
Yeah, Phoenix was
Think about it.
He was with Phoenix. They went to the finals.
But that was all about Book.
Yeah.
That was all about Book. And
Chris
then he
Paul
get
at the
moved,
time.
Chris Paul and Book, and he get moved, and then he goes to Brooklyn, and that's just a team, like you said. He get all the opportunities, basically, because they don't have nothing.
Yeah.
Now you get a chance to see him with a playoff team again, with players that surround him that he knows from college. They play pickup in the offseason together. There's some chemistry there, so his learning curve ain't going to be significant. He's not going to have a significant learning curve. It's just not a sexy, I understand, based on the picks and all that they gave up to get him.
Yeah.
You sit back, but that's the going rate for the. We said the same thing about Rudy Gobert. It's the going rate.
But I know you, and if I walked up and you didn't know about this trade, and I said, the Knicks just got Mikal Bridges,
I would say cool.
You'd be like, okay.
Yeah,
cool,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's why
I would say it's cool.
I was like, I'm not excited. Like I said, if you had said, all right, they got for 5 first-rounders and such and such, you got Kevin Durant. I'll be looking at the Knicks like they a threat to the Celtics.
Right. It's the name, though, man. Don't let the names get you.
But when I say Jaylen Brown to you, when I tell you, when I'm rooting against you guys like I was through the finals, he just scares the unholy hell out of me, right?
Yeah.
He scares me. And listen, Jason Tatum, for all the issues I've had with him, I know every night he's got nuclear capability.
Yeah.
Because when he goes, it just goes off, and you're done.
Right.
Because he is capable of shooting you out of the gym.
And that's why I say when we ask on a scale of 1 to 10, are the Knicks a threat?
Yeah.
It's no threat. Not yet.
And then we get to the coach. I respect Thibodeau, and he's done a lot of great things, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because he was your defensive coordinator for a championship team.
He's a genius.
Okay? Maybe that was where he belonged. It's like in your sport, when you take a great defensive coordinator, Buddy Ryan, and you make him the head coach, and it's never quite, like he's not the commanding officer type. I don't know. Thibodeau coaches every game with his hands around the game's throat like that. I'm going to just shake the life out of it, right?
Squeeze all that OJ out of
I'm going to squeeze every last drop of energy out of my starters. And I don't know. It's not cool. It's not. It doesn't have mystique. I'm not sure anybody is afraid of Thibodeau. I'm thinking the Knicks players look at him like, yeah, I respect his sort of defensive legacy, but I'm not sure he's the right guy. I'm not sure. I'm glad he's on our side. It's almost like you have to sort of win in spite of his craziness.
You do realize you gave them a 2.
I did. I gave them a 2 in threat.
They have no chance at hell, is what you're saying.
Yeah, of beating that team.
With the Celtics on no level.
No, but look about this.
Think about that, though.
No, listen.
A 2?
A 2.
Yeah. They're not there yet.
Yeah.
You need stars in this league. And Julius Randle, all-star, but, not really a superstar. And if you're telling me that Jalen Brunson is your best player that can lead you past the Celtics, I'm not sure.
He didn't say lead, he said threat. See, you taking threat as a lead.
Well, it can lead you to threatening the Celtics. Like, I'm not sure a guy that size can do that.
I totally. Hey,
know what I'm
is
saying?
he 6 feet tall?
Yeah, if he was 6'9",
but it's not about.
like,
But it's not about Jalen Brunson. This is about Mikal
well, he's the
Bridges.
guy. He's the guy.
This is about them getting better, getting the depth that you talked about, and getting better on the wings at the defensive end. This is what this is about. It ain't about. It's not about him scoring.
I'm not even sure they're better than. I'm not sure they're a threat to Indiana. I mean,
Indiana is deeper with talent.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They had Indiana on the rope, Skip. They fell apart. They broke down.
Yep. Okay, so I do love the Nova toughness, and I love it that they got four of them from the same place.
Team.
Yeah, they got the whole team, and you're right.
That's crazy.
Don't get Jay Wright. Don't get Jay Wright now.
Be the coach.
He should be.
But I'm going to remind you.
Never know.
Those four, for what this is worth, and it may be worth a nickel.
It's great box office.
But when they did play together for 1 year at Nova,
they
it was
won the national
2017. Title. No, they did not. When the four of them all played.
No, when all of them played, they did.
When all of them played, DiVincenzo didn't get to play much.
Oh, okay,
he was a freshman. But when they all actually contributed in 2017, they lost in the second round. For what it's worth, I know just one time, one game in one weird place. It was in Buffalo, New York. They lost as the 1 seed to the 8 seed Wisconsin, featuring Nigel Hayes was their best player, was Wisconsin's best player. So I'm looking at what happened in the game, and Josh Hart scored 19, and DiVincenzo scored 15, and Jalen Brunson only had 11, but Mikal Bridges played 29 minutes in that game and did not score. For what it's worth, just did not score. So you couldn't see him coming quite like what he was going to become in pro basketball. He's become a better pro basketball player than he was as a dominant college star.
It's just it's just key, like it's still something missing. You know how you just gotta sprinkle something else on it. Like you be in the kitchen, you give it's still something missing.
It might be, but I'm not ready to just discount them as a 2 and just like, oh, whatever.
Think about this. Like how much, let's just take away the Celtics. How much are they a threat to a healthy Milwaukee? How about a healthy Miami or a healthy Indiana? Indiana wasn't all the way healthy. They had another key contributor that didn't play. What about a healthy Philly?
He's really good.
Yeah, he came off their bench. He was in his second year. He was like, he gave him a good 15. Yeah, he's talented. Mm-hmm. He could easily be like their second leading scorer. Like, he didn't play. So, like, they're still in that group right there. And you have to argue that, man, maybe Philly, if Maxey and Embiid are healthy, if Embiid wasn't out there on one leg, I mean, he was out there literally on one leg. Those are 2 legit all-stars they got.
And don't let them land Paul George.
Don't let them land Paul George. Now, I would be like, that's more of a threat to the Celtics to me if they land Paul George.
Yeah.
Now, that's a threat. But as far as the Knicks and Mikal Bridges, it's just kind of like a little bit more than a lateral move to me.
All right. Now, I'm going to say this about the Knicks. They haven't won since 1973, obviously. And there's something about that franchise that feels a little bit sort of a curse to me or doomed to me.
Cowboyish?
Well, it's beyond that because they don't have the cowboy legacy of the 90s or the back to the 70s. But the point is, that building has become a place you go to see the opposing Paul Pierce come in and light it up, right?
Yes,
and obviously this team is very good. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's a team that New York can actually put its arm around instead of putting its arm around Steph or LeBron or whoever comes into their building. And yet, it just feels like the mentality, the deepest mentality of the franchise is what can go wrong will go wrong. Right?
Well, that's true.
It just feels like that to me, where it's like planted in their psyches is, when push comes to shove, we'll screw it up, or somebody will get hurt, or we'll all get hurt, right?
I don't know. Maybe it's the owner. I don't know what it is.
It could. You know what? Bingo.
Dolan, I don't know.
That's the dark cloud right there.
It might be.
They might have to move out that building.
No, they ain't gonna move out that building.
Right.
That building is rich real estate. They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's too prime.
Yeah, it's too prime.
I don't know. Well, they need to change owners or something.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon either.
Doug Boat-Paul, it's locked that your team wins it all next year?
Well,
Doug Boat-Paul.
it's I like their chances, Skip.
I
like
thought
their
you'd say as a
No, I like our
100%
chances.
lock. No?
You know, I like our chances. Because No, but check this out. You understand? We're going to get better, too.
Of course.
Because now, Porzingis, I don't know if I count him in this run. Like, you didn't see the full potential in this run.
Well, you did because he played the regular season.
I mean, you saw what,
He helped them get to the playoffs.
Yeah. But then, like, think about this. Like, when you win it all, the next year you come back, you confident. Like, you don't think you can win it now. You know you can win it. And so going into them games, you confident, there's a target on your back, but it's been a target on their back for a couple years now. So they know what to expect. So I just feel like next year,
I got to see what everybody else
They might win 70 games.
I got to see what
they might win 70 games.
I got to see what everybody else out there do.
Okay.
Because it's too, people are moving around, man.
They're moving quickly.
I mean, the only thing that can happen in the East is Philly get Paul George. That's it.
Okay.
Or Paul George goes to Milwaukee. I mean, that's the only thing I see. You have to pair up a Paul George type to a really significant
So
1A
nobody in the
guy.
West can beat y'all.
The West has more of a chance than the East.
That's what he asked you if you was going to win it all.
I'm saying I think we come out the East as the East.
Constructed.
As constructed, the East. The only threat will be a Paul George move to either Milwaukee or Philly, but no other team.
So a Paul George move to a Golden State ain't going to do nothing for y'all.
They got to still worry about getting out the West. That team is not a lock to get out the West.
No, but I'm just.
No, we ain't worried about like Ja Morant said. What did Ja Morant say? We good in the West. The Celtics over here like we good in the East.
Yeah.
We good in the East.
All right. Though Keyshawn says Knicks have a real shot of upsetting you next year. That's what.
Yeah, a 7. He said a 7.
Right.
I can't believe that one.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.